Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about 13 sneaky and deceiving exercises that are pretty ridiculously easy to do. Stay tuned. Hey there, my friend. Welcome to the Power Blast podcast, the power of possibility, passion, and purpose. We're going to talk about some really sneaky and deceiving exercises today that they can shape, tone, and define you more than you think. And maybe you've done some of these before, especially if you followed this podcast and you're into health and fitness. But while I have done many challenging exercises over the years and routines, some more crazy than others, there are a few that seem like, man, that should be pretty easy to do, and they're fairly easy to perform. Some of them you might need to modify a little bit, but depending on your fitness level, of course. But these are easy. They offer really great fat burning, toning, strength building. And they've been integrated with a lot of the programs that I've been able to do over the years. We'll see if you can relate to some of them. And if you haven't or you're not familiar with them, in the video version of this podcast that I'll have on iTunes and on our YouTube channel, you'll be able to see demonstrations of some of these. I'm not going to tell you how to perform the exercise necessarily, just kind of what they look like. But you can also do a Google search because some of these are tricky. And I think one of the big deceiving ones that I faced before was the pistol squat. That one just really gets you. Not only does it challenge your balance, but it also, helps you focus on just about every muscle in your lower body. That's like the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves. Basically, you're holding your hand straight in front of you, or I've done it actually holding some dumbbells before at my sides, and you're lifting one leg off the ground and then squatting down with the other leg. Then you're pausing, coming back up, and doing several reps of doing that. That one, sometimes when you're experiencing fatigue, I'll put the leg that I'm lifting up, I'll actually drop a little bit so it's touching the floor, just so I can maintain balance and still perform the exercise. But that is a really good one. You can do it with a chair or a weight bench, in case your balance is feeling off. So that's one of them. Another one, I forget the program that I did it in, I think a couple of them. It's called the Turkish Get Up. That one, you're laying on your back, and you actually end up coming up to a standing position. And it doesn't sound that tough, except while you're there, you are actually holding a dumbbell up in one hand. You're keeping your eye focused up on that dumbbell while you push yourself up with the other hand, and you're trying to roll yourself up onto that side. So that is while keeping that arm straight and working on your balance and everything like that. That can really be a sneaky one as you go through it. Another one you may be familiar with is the burpee. It's a popular one. It's been used in a lot of programs, but that one is, basically you're in a standing position. You're coming down into a squat, putting your hands on the ground, jumping your legs backwards into a plank position, jumping back up, and then standing up that way. I've seen people modify it where they just squat down, then step their feet back, and then come up and just stand instead of some people, the burpees, they do a jumping motion when they come back up to the standing position. So there's a lot of variations on it, but what a good, not only a cardio burner, but a lower leg burn. And you even feel it in your arms too, as you're going and using, holding it in your plank. The other one is just a great old push-up. Push-ups that just, you're in that plank position. And there's a lot of variations of push-ups too, but is bringing that, tucking in your abdomen, and then lowering your chest down to the floor, and then coming back up to straighten your arms. And it just, works your shoulders, your chest, your upper back, just a lot of them. But there are many different variations of push-ups, which I've learned over the years. But just even even the standard one. If you're looking to challenge yourself, try plyo push-ups where you're actually springing up off the ground and catching a little air as you go. Kind of crazy stuff. Another move, which is I found sneaky, it's in the program that I'm doing at the moment. It's a front-loaded squat where you're either holding a barbell. I happen to hold 2 dumbbells, and you're holding them basically at your just above your chest at your shoulder level, and you're holding those up and then doing a standard squat down. Now you might have to adjust the weight on that, but just keeping that weight held up at that position as opposed to letting them hang on your side, you're really engaging your core a lot more, and you've got the tension in your legs. It's targeting your glutes and your quads, and you're just, man, it's just a nice lower leg. It's a lower body move that burns. Another one, speaking of lower body burn, is a wall squat or a wall sit that people call it. And that's basically just having a wall at your back and going down into, kind of a sitting, as if you were sitting on a chair, but there's no chair below you. And you just got your back against the wall and your legs holding yourself up in that, where your legs are at 90 degrees. And you're pressing your back against that wall and holding it for as long as you can. Some of the programs I've done before, they'll have you hold it for maybe, anywhere like 15 seconds, and then you kind of adjust the angle a little bit. But I've seen people hold those squats for like 3 or 4 minutes. It's crazy. I can't last that long, or I haven't challenged myself to last that long. Another one is I use dumbbells for this, but other people do, is a kettlebell swing. Go online and just do a YouTube search on the proper form of doing a kettlebell swing. But basically, you're holding on to a dumbbell or a kettlebell, and you're swinging it in front of you about shoulder height, and then you're letting it swing down in between your legs, and then you're lifting up, and you're going to get a good squat in there, so a hip thrust, and it's a big calorie burner after you get a few reps going in that direction. Another one, you may have heard of this, kind of goes along with the burpee, except you're not doing any motion here, just holding a plank. This can be done just like in that push-up position and holding as long as you can. Or I've seen people hold it while they were on their forearms and just holding that plank as long as you can, engaging the core, tightening the glutes, and it can really increase your endurance and your stamina, and it's just a nice engaging core workout. So I kind of like that. You even get some glute work and leg work in there too. Supermans, that's another one where you're laying on the ground on your stomach and then lifting up your legs behind you and your arms directly in front of you. Kind of like you're flying like Superman. And what I've done with those before, I've maybe held it up for 5 seconds and then drop it down for 5 seconds and I'll lift it up again. It's one of those really great lower back sort of workouts, and sneaky but very doable. Mountain climbers is another one. It's kind of like you're holding a plank, like a push-up position, but you're bringing your feet up as if you're climbing a mountain, almost like you're in a track meet, like a sprinter going. But your hands never leave the ground. You're always holding on to that, and so you're just bringing that up. You can go at a fast pace, a slower pace. I think kind of doing it as if you're kind of like a little sprint or a nice little cadence to it can be a good calorie burner. Sumo squats. Okay, so picture like your typical sumo wrestler. Your legs are out in that kind of that wide stance. I've done that with dumbbells in my hand, like holding one heavy dumbbell and then squatting up and down. But you can just do this just holding the squat position. Or I was doing a workout the other day where it was like a little hopping that we did. You were doing a little squat hop sort of thing. So just squeezing the glutes as you go. And with if you're doing the squat itself, you're just squatting down and then up and then down and then up. And the next one is a really great move. It's called the clean and press, and you may have seen this with people on the Olympics, where they're holding like a barbell just straight in front of them. They're kind of going down into almost like a squat, but more like kind of a deadlift sort of thing. And then they're just with full force bringing that up and above to where they press it above their head. And there's kind of like a special flip that they do with it, and that's called the clean. And of course, pressing it over their head and holding that. But I've done it with dumbbells before, and that is a really, really intense move, especially if you do a few of those in a row. Another one, if you're into the MMA stuff or kind of the kickboxing stuff, this one called the roundhouse kick. Actually, a lot of the kicks and a lot of the punches are really, really cool with MMA stuff. But the roundhouse kick, I mean, that one just... it seems to bring in the action of not only the balance that it takes to do it, but as you're bringing your leg around, you're really needing to point your toe out to just kind of out to the side. You're engaging and chambering up your knee, and then as you're doing this kick around the side, it just engages a lot of good hip action, and it's as if you're just kind of just flipping around and just, I don't know, you feel like a kind of like a ninja doing a little kick, taking on your enemies or whatever. But that is another good one. I thought I'd throw that one in there because I just a wide variety. I know most of the other ones had to do with kind of like strength training sort of moves, but this one really just intense. Now there's a lot of other ones out there. There are Pilates moves. There are a lot of different core activities, a lot of plank activities, weights, etc. But these just kind of stood out to me as ones that were very, very effective, seemed pretty doable on the surface to go through, and they're kind of humbling in the way when you start to do them. They sneak up on you really quick. I think I kind of marvel at some of those things. I know for me, when I started my very first push-ups and I was seeing the trainer say, bang out, I think it was 7 push-ups. I'm like, no problem. I got to 2 and I'm like, are you kidding me? I had to drop to my knees and get out the rest of them. That's why I say you can always modify any of these and work your way up, to work your strength up to be able to do them. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast today. And hey, if just getting started with your fitness journey is something that you aspire to, I've got a free Fit Start book that you can download at myfitstart.com just to help you get going. And actually, it's not only just centered around exercise, it's centered around some good mindset and empowering activities you can do to kickstart your morning and take control of the day. So when you win the morning, you win the day. Thanks for tuning in this week, and as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.